Love stock, what is going on? It is getting just beat up over this past year, past 5 years, just really taking a tough hit. But I did see that there was an insider that bought it either yesterday or today. So we're going to check it out. We're going to look at their latest earnings, some of the other fundamentals, and maybe give you a new stock to look at, maybe something that you didn't know about Love. So we will start with the earnings, and the first thing that you can see right off the bat, and I should mention too, this is a furnishing company. It does like furniture and furnishment, not luxury furnishing. So that's kind of what their business is. And the first thing, the reason why I bring that up is because this is a very good gross margin. This is over about 50%. So really good gross margin. The selling expenses, unfortunately, selling G&A take up pretty much all of that gross margin, which is something that I was reading about earlier about how they do a lot of discounts and whatnot to kind of keep sales going and revenue going, coming through and whatnot. So, but for what it's worth, the advertising spend did go down a little bit. So there's, kind of the situation. You're looking at a net loss of 11 million. So, but this gross margin is strong. That's probably one of the best things I would say about this business is that it's very good. The let's see, repurchases of common stock. Do we got any? Looks like they are doing some buybacks, which is interesting because they don't exactly have the cash flow for that, but we'll check that later. But at least from what I can tell, they're not diluting. So yeah, this is kind of their latest earnings. The takeaway that I'll get from that. Let's just look at the valuation real quick. This is a small market cap company, 200 million. This is smaller. It's on the smaller end, not micro cap, but it's definitely small. You're looking at a price to book ratio at 1, which is pretty low, I would say, for this industry. Let's just check the valuation here. So historically, it's actually trading at pretty high valuations as to what it has in the past. Something to watch. And then even their valuation, according to the industry, is actually even pretty high. I'd have to see kind of what the industry are. Here's some of the companies here, but that's at least for price to equity. But remember, they're not exactly profitable, so I want to use the price to sales here. And I think this is a much better metric. And this gives you a totally different picture. You're looking at a historically trading at a very low range. And you're also looking, the valuation is pretty low for Love. So that's pretty good. I think price to sales is the better way to look at it, probably. Speaking of that, I just do want to see what the free cash flow is real quick. It looks like it's cyclical, so that's something to watch for, but I'm not seeing any big red flags. Here's the share buybacks that we saw. Looks like they recently started it. Let's go check their debt. Give me the balance sheet. Let's check their debt here, and I am not seeing any debt. So that's good. Yep, no debt. So that is a pretty good thing. Is this going to confirm that too? Let's go to the balance sheet here. Not seeing current debt, nothing. Long-term debt, nothing. So no debt, that's good. It's a good thing. And it looks like they do have a pretty solid cash position. Got about a year well, they have positive cash flow, so they're not really burning cash, which I would imagine they have some sort of employee-based compensation. Let's see. What is the employee-based compensation for Love stock? Okay, 5.5 million. So that is not bad at all. The buybacks don't offset that. Um, but yeah, like this is saying, the share float's small. This is 14 million shares outstanding. For the free float is pretty small. Look at this too. We were talking about as a small market cap. This is a very small amount of shares. So the more volume that comes to this, the easier it is for it to move. So it's getting slightly diluted, but there's hardly any shares anyways. So very small share count, which I think is good. Insiders, we just saw, that's what I noticed about this stock. Looks like there was a buy on it. The CEO bought in June 10th. I want to say he bought again yesterday or nearby, or maybe it was disclosed yesterday, but the purchase was on the 10th. So that's a great thing to see whenever insiders are doing buys. So, and this doesn't look like, this actually looks like it's derivative exercise. So I want to make sure I get the open market buy. What was the latest insider purchase on Lovesac? There you go. This is what I was looking for. So director bought 30K shares. President also bought some shares. So there's some buys here that are going on. This is what I actually was looking for, what notified me about it. So you always like to see that. I want to see, is there anything else that I think is worth checking? The gross margins is big. We did talk about how they do a lot of sales discounts and whatnot for their revenue to keep it up, which is where a lot of their expenses come from. The insider buy. Oh, let's check institutions. Heavy institutional ownership. I wonder what the short interest is. I wonder what that is. Only reason why I ask is because I saw that the institutional ownership is over 100%. I think that usually means that there's institutions that are shorting it as well. So let's just check that real quick. Yeah, look at that. 30%. There's a lot of shorts, guys. Dang. 30%? Yeah, holy. Borrow rates are pretty low too for that. But it's because there's a lot of shorts available, or shares available to short. But I mean, this could be a powder keg. I'm not saying it will, and it's not good to bet on this, but that's a lot of short percentage for a very small share count stock. So something to watch. I don't think it's high enough to do anything now, but seems like that's quite a bit. And I don't think that I don't know that that's warranted. I mean, the company needs to make money, but they don't have any debt. I don't see the revenue shrinking. I don't see any of that. So what is the forward forecast in sales and EPS? Is it expected to grow? And we can see that. We can also see that just here in this forward PE ratio. Forward PE ratio. So yes, it is expecting to grow, but remember, this is kind of like a weird cyclical business where their net income kind of is always going back and forth. So, okay. So they trimmed the net sales expectation a little bit and then narrowed the earnings per share a little bit. So still growing, but it's not as much as they had been forecasting. So 7%. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know that it's oh, check this out, guys. Structural rollouts. National scaling of new fulfillment delivery infrastructure. Major product innovation roadmap culminating in a new room product platform. Continued premium e-commerce expansion, which carries higher margins than traditional retail it's something else to watch. Some future growth drivers. Let's look at the chart real quick. Okay, so below all the moving averages except for this 5-day moving average. Looks like it's kind of breaking above that. So watch for that. When's the last time I had a lot of volume? March. Big volume here, guys. Look at that. Um, hmm. Well, I think this is an interesting stock and a new kind of industry I haven't looked at too much. And then again, the main thing for me that I think is cool is you got some insiders buying it. So if you follow this more than I do, or if you've been, following for a while, or you're a shareholder, let me know what you think, what I missed. I'd love to hear it, and I will see you guys in the next